Hello and welcome back. I hope you guys can go the distance because today we are going to be talking once more in our background bites. We're going to be talking about Disney Renaissance and we're talking about Hercules. That was a
Now, Joe, I think you mean Huncules.
oh man, I
Does
love
he
you.
though?
Don't take that
Do
first
I?
clip out of context. No.
No, no. Okay, we know now. We know what Joseph likes. Yes, we are continuing our Disney Renaissance recap in these background bites, and we have gotten all the way up to the third to last, I believe. Right?
You are
Yep.
We got
correct.
Hercules, and then Mulan, and then Tarzan, and then we're done. All right. Well,
No more
uh,
Disney. They stopped making movies. What a shame.
yes, they stopped. It's so sad that they stopped
They were
making
just
movies after
done.
that. They're like, Tarzan was only okay, and then we didn't make any more.
They decided either be great or be nothing.
You know, this
Yep.
2D animation thing, it's really harsh on our vibe.
Well,
I was about to say,
all
that
right.
almost did kind of happen, didn't it? Anyway.
We are getting ahead of ourselves. First, I believe is my job to recap the plot, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, we start off. Actually, I do love how this movie starts off with a narrator and the muses narrating, and so like they set up. They give us a narration of the previous plot summary, which is how Zeus created the world by killing a bunch of imprisoning titans. And now Zeus is king on Mount Olympus. He has a baby named Hercules, and Zeus's brother Hades is not very happy about this. And so he's not happy because he's planning to overthrow Zeus. Hercules is going to get in the way because of the prophecy. There's always a prophecy. And so he steals Hercules, turns him mortal, and is going to kill him. But some meddlesome humans interfere at the last minute, and then he ends up getting saved. He grows up, but he's an oddball because he's got godlike strength, even though he's still technically mortal. And so he never fits in. He goes to the Temple of Zeus to figure out where he belongs, and Zeus is like, "Hey, son, by the way, you belong on Mount Olympus, but you can't come back until you're a hero." And so he goes and he trains with a satyr named Philatides, but we call him Phil.
Phil DeVito.
Yeah, Phil DeVito. He trains with Danny DeFildo. And he learns learns all the hero rules, and then he gets a field test where he saves a girl named Meg from a centaur. She's definitely not going to be important later. He does a few more things where he's constantly fighting monsters, saving people, stopping natural disasters, and Hades is getting more and more frustrated that the person he couldn't even kill as a baby is now becoming more and more of a glorious hero. And so he finally we have found out earlier that Meg is actually working for Hades because of other shenanigans. And so Hades says, "Okay, you go and find out Hercules' weakness, and I'll give you your freedom." And she accidentally discovers that his weakness is her. And so Hades is like, yes, I know how to get to him now, and makes a deal with Hercules that Meg will be safe from harm if Hercules gives up his strength. Hercules makes this deal, which is a terrible idea. Hades goes and tries to take over the world, but Meg accidentally gets killed in the process, and so Hercules gets his strength back. He saves the day, and then he's really sad because Meg dies, so he goes and he fights death to go and get Meg's soul back, and that turns him into a god again. He saves Meg, but then in the process decides he actually wants to be back on Earth with Meg instead. And then we end with A Star Is Born as our closing song.
Not the Bradley Cooper one, the other one.
No. All right. So I think that was all the major points, so we can get into the nitty gritty there. So what are your guys' thoughts on Hercules?
I thought it was fun. I'd seen it. I don't remember exactly when I saw it, but rewatching it, I still think it's fun. I don't think there's necessarily anything revolutionary about it or anything that blew me out of the water, but it was fun, and I just had a blast with it. Hades was a great villain, a lot of fun there, and in particular, Pain and Panic stood out as being possibly the best side villains in the Disney Renaissance. The only one I think that probably comes close when it comes to side villains would be Iago.
Yeah.
I'd say that's close, but they were hilarious. Let's see here. Danny DeVito is Phil. was excellent. Phil Vito, of
Phil
course,
Vito.
was the real heart of the film. I mean, the scene at the end there where we finally get to see them say, "Hey, that's Phil's boy. Come on."
Mm-hmm.
My heart.
That hits right here, man.
Hits you right in the feels.
Yes.
Like if you cry every time. Let's see. It, yeah, that's pretty much kind of the gist of my opinions too. In terms of like run of the mill isn't a good word for it because really nothing out of the Disney Renaissance has been run of the mill. It's either been its own, well, the Rescuers sequel aside, it's been its own kind of thing. It's not really like mid tier, but I don't know. I guess it just didn't it just didn't hit as well as it did when I was a kid. I don't know. It was just kind of I don't know. The art style is not even that different from like something else. I mean, again, aside from like certain character designs, again, Hades is of course the standout. That's you could ask anybody. It's like, oh, you remember Hercules? It's like, yeah, I remember Hades or something like that. Was it James Wood? Yeah, James might as well be the only thing he's known for at this point. Yeah, it was just kind of there was a lot of good elements, but I don't know. It was too much salt, too much pepper. I don't know, something. Something was a little off.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is it's trying to tell both of the stories. It's trying to tell both Lion King's story and Aladdin's story at the same time. Like Lion King is, your dad is the great king person, but his uncle overthrows him because he's evil, and you have to go and learn the lessons that your dad didn't know in order to overcome your evil uncle. Right? That's the Lion King story. Essentially. And Aladdin's story is you are someone who has talent but have been shunned and ostracized from society, and so you have to find a way to make your talents appreciable by the people that matter so that you can end up getting the girl at the end, right? Those are like the broadest strokes of those two stories. And this is both of them at the same time, but without the heart of those two stories. Like, it's like, I think they just like, okay, paint by the numbers is more, it's not bland, it's paint by the numbers, right? It's like, okay, here are our plots, boop, 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 we're going to tick through our list. And we're going to have some fun songs, we're going to have some fun elements, and some excellent animation. Like, the animation is excellent. The scene with the Hydra attacking him is great. That's
very different, the animation style. I mean, even though despite it being 2D, it just has a different look than the rest of them. And I think it's because they got a different 2D animator for this than for the others. I can't remember the whole history. I want to say there was this album by the band Pink Floyd in the 70s called The Wall that had a lot of animation done for it, I think. And I don't know if there was like a movie made for it, but apparently there was a lot of artwork done. It's just this oddly textured 2D animations and just 2D photos and all that were apparently done by this guy. It was definitely different. I feel like you could tell. And I thought it worked. I don't necessarily think I loved it.
I could be mistaken because it's been a while since I've looked at that art, but I think he was also a little not big in collage, but sort of like, I suppose, kind of that. I could be wrong, but it's just sort of like that. The stuff for The Wall is kind of like, I mean, some of the things you guys might have seen is like the hammers like that are walking like they're like a pair of legs and they're like walking in a line and stuff. It's like very not static animation, but not very much movement. And I think there's some elements that come into that, specifically with like the I'm trying to remember the art. The Greek pots, whatever that in that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just sort of like it's a little more, well, not jumpy, but rigid.
Gotcha.
In those sections, and I guess that kind of helps it stand out a little. But I don't know. For some reason, I didn't mind a lot of the other like Greek inspired elements, but it's just sort of like, it's just not doing it.
That's fair. Speaking of the Greek inspired elements, I will say, so I've come I have come full circle on this movie because when I was a kid, I absolutely loved it. You know, and I was like 6 years old, I absolutely loved this movie. And then as I got older and I started learning more about Greek mythology, I started getting more and more upset with this movie because it plays very fast and loose with Greek mythology. First of all, in Greek mythology, the character's name is not Hercules. His name is Heracles. He's named Hercules in the Roman version of the story, in the Latinized version of the story. And what's another thing? Heracles is not the son of Zeus and Hera. He's the son of Zeus and a mortal woman. So he was never a god to begin with. And there's a lot of other things like that where you're like, okay, this kind of is annoying. But I've come full circle to the point where I realize they actually knew what they were doing and they intentionally made those changes. And the reason I know they knew what they were doing is because the name of the mortal woman who is supposed to be Heracles' mother is Alcmene, and that's the name of his adoptive mother in the story. And the name of Alcmene's husband in the original myth is Amphitryon. Right, so like they intentionally use those names, and one of the early myths about Heracles is that when he was a baby, 2 snakes got into his crib and he strangled them, and that's how his parents knew that he was different. And so like the fact that they included that in the movie, and there's a lot of things like that where you're like, oh, okay, they knew what they were doing and they intentionally made changes. So I've come full circle on the Greek thing, the Greekness of it.
Well, we're glad to see you going strong, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've rectified that. It's
yes.
Do we want to knock out best song or favorite song?
Sure.
Good point. You go first, though.
There is no villain song, which probably is for the best because I don't know that we want Hades to be singing. I think that actually diminishes from his character. But
I think this is the first one to not have a villain song. Or sorry, I know Aladdin didn't, but I mean, it was consistently, this was the first to start the trend of just, at this point, they were done. This was one, and then Mulan and Tarzan also did not have villain songs. So the question is the lack of Disney villain song what killed the Renaissance?
I don't think it's that simple.
I think we're seeing some correlation without.
Yeah.
Then again,
I don't think it's that simple. But
no, I think it's more likely that there is a root cause. The cause for the end of the Renaissance and the cause for them to not put villain songs was the same thing, but it wasn't that one of them caused the other. But going back to the actual question at hand, the 2 best songs are "Go the Distance" and. Is it "Won't Say I'm in Love" or is "Say I'm in Love" the actual name of the song?
I think it's "I Won't Say I'm in Love." That's my personal favorite.
Like Meg's song, yeah.
That actually reminds me. What were you gonna say?
Those are the 2 best. "Go the Distance" and "I Won't Say I'm in Love."
Yeah, "Go the Distance" might be a better song, but "I Won't Say I'm in Love" is just such a bop. It actually reminds me of some song Journey would write in the 80s. It just has that sort of vibe to it, just the sound.
Yeah, fair.
And like just the piano-led elements to it. It's like, all right, very cool. So
it is kind of from that. I mean, that makes sense. Was it that and the opening, which I guess I just like anything with the muses in there, but it's like that and the opening. I guess those are tied to because they got that same kind of feel. Which, I mean, it's kind of. I don't know. I guess it's sort of like, hey, I guess we're not going to do. It's like, hey, what Greek music is there? I don't know. It's just, what do we like? Phil, what do you like? Gospel, I guess. All right. Yeah. What else do we like?
So they asked Danny DeVito as Phil what he likes.
Yes.
What kind of music does Phil like? I don't know, man. I haven't done that much. I haven't done that much research into the character yet. What are we paying you for, Mr. DeVito?
Phil Vito.
Phil Vito. Yeah. Oh man.
I'm trying to think. I think we pretty much covered most of it. I enjoy. I feel like most of the Renaissance film did this well, but I appreciate how seamlessly the Muses' songs fit into the movie.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't like they just tried to throw a song in there. It's like, oh, we need an I Want song or something like that. It was the Muses' songs, I felt like, told the story very well and really, I can't think of a better way to say it other than they definitely made the film with these songs in mind and with the Muses doing these. And they were very much intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
intentionally put there to keep the plot moving and all of that.
When I think Go the Distance is, well, so the Muses are convincing Meg to sing I Won't Say I'm in Love, right? So that's their direct influence. Go the Distance is the only one that is not sung by the Muses.
I believe you're correct.
That's Hercules' own like Vision Quest song that he's singing. Basically.
Yeah, that's his I Want song, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's his I Want song. And then all of the other ones are, I mean, the Muses are the Greek goddesses of music, so it kind of makes sense that they would be singing to tell a story. That makes
Seems fair.
The first chorus, in both senses of the word.
Yes. Yeah, literally. Yep. That is exactly correct. All right. Yeah. I mean, I said my favorites. I don't know. You actually guys said your favorite songs, or do you agree with me?
No, I think my favorite is I Won't Say I'm in Love. That was the one I put down. I mean, Go the Distance is also great, but personally, I think I'd forgotten about that one just because it's been so long since I've seen it. So rewatching it, it's like, this is a bop. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'll save it. I'll
save that for later. His playlist.
That's right. I don't think we even mentioned it. I thought Meg was fun. I thought she was a good female character that they added. So she was a nice addition to the Renaissance. And yeah, I thought she played off Hercules very well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Favorite kind of character, just the elevated trope.
Yeah, I know. I love Meg was like, you know, I would say the two best female. I don't know if you call her a protagonist because she's technically a side character, but deuteragonist. Deuteragonist 3-4. Sure. Belle is obviously the best female protagonist of the Disney movies, but Meg is a close second, or she's the best deuteragonist, however you want to put that up.
Sure.
I don't know how we rank such things.
We use a deuteragonistogram.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, minor nitpick from me.
Please.
That I noticed that I thought was kind of funny. Is I like how close to the end there when Hercules goes all the way to Hades to rescue Meg. He's able to touch the waters of the dead, and his hands get all old and gray and all that. So he leans down to touch that, but then a second later, he has to jump off a cliff to go into the water.
Don't think about it.
I assume that he's jumping to get down as deep as possible, as fast as possible. It's a little bit weirdly framed. I agree.
It looks like he's jumping off a cliff, and yet
I know. It does.
It's metaphorical waters. It's steam, soul.
It is.
Minor nitpick. It's a minor nitpick.
I'm sorry that Hades, the realm of Hades, doesn't stand up to your criticism, sir.
I guess just physics do not apply in the realm of Hades. I should have known.
I mean, once he becomes a god, he just flies out of the water, but he like floats very gradually. I'm assuming is what's happening. I don't know. Does not make sense.
No. That's it. Hades is canceled.
All right, yeah, we're done here. Well, he did get canceled at the very end of the movie, and when he gets back, he's going to be pretty mad.
If he gets back.
Oh, yes, if it's good.
But we know that Hades did not learn his lesson. Did anybody else learn their lesson in this movie?
We had a lot of that going around, actually. It's just like, was it Hercules learned to be a true hero? Meg learned to trust people again. I guess sort of so did Phil. Zeus learned how to be a decent father. I don't know.
I might be going.
Did he though?
The
question is, if Hercules had never come to Zeus, would Zeus have ever reached out?
Yeah.
You'll find me when the time's right. Wait, how long has it been? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that mortals die. He's like 60 years old and basically dead at this point.
Awkward.
Oh, bye, son.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it'll be in Men in
You
Black.
hate to see it.
Yes. So
Another good thing.
Oh.
Just coming out of nowhere that I forgot to mention. Another good voice cast. I mean, you know, just they don't miss.
Yeah.
Oh, just in general. I thought you were going to point out a specific one, but yeah, in general, just the voice cast.
In
Yep,
general.
solid.
Yeah. You can point to
Everybody-
near about everybody.
Yep. Hercules,
Top-notch.
Meg, Phil Vito, Hades,
Oh, no.
all of them solid.
I don't like this new Phil Vito trend.
You don't like it?
It sounds like a cheese, man.
Yeah. Sounds like a Taco Bell taco. The new spicy Phil Vito.
Phil Vito Supreme.
Coming with their Locos Fovitos.
Hercules, this merchandising's gone too far. They turned me into a burrito.
Kid, you gotta help.
Oh man. That's the mark of a true hero, is you save Phil from becoming a Taco Bell product.
You save him from the taco industry.
The real monsters of ancient Greek society.
Oh man.
Everyone whose Hades was just a pawn
Yeah.
in their sick game.
I've got a marketing campaign that's been going on 20 years in the making, and you're eating his tacos. Okay, where are we going? Where are we going with this?
I think we're going to Taco Bell.
What
I-
a,
Now I'm kind of hungry.
I guess so. One last little compliment I want to give
sponsored by
this.
Taco Bell in any way, shape, or form.
One last little compliment I want to give this movie, because I believe the last one we talked about was Hunchback, right? That was the last.
Yep.
Yes.
So the one thing that kept Hunchback from being perfect was the stupid gargoyles, and if they had cut the gargoyles out, it would have been perfect.
Mhm.
And I do appreciate, we do not have any obnoxious sidekicks in this movie. We have Pain and Panic, who are Hades' minions,
Mhm.
and we have Pegasus. But Pegasus is absolutely crucial to the story, and he's pretty cool. He's not he's not an
Yeah.
annoying sidekick. And then Pain and Panic could be a little bit goofy at times, but it doesn't detract from the story like
Right.
the gargoyles do. So just one last little feather in this movie's cap is they actually did sidekicks. They did sidekicks good.
Yep.
The
This is-
secret is they don't talk.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to Background Noise in our Background Bites Hercules episode. If you have been paying attention this far, we appreciate it, and we're sorry for the bad puns. And if you haven't been paying attention, you're welcome for not hearing the bad puns.
Go get a
Thank-
spicy Phil Vito.
Until next time, bye.